Hello, hello. We are back with the Hellbreaker Sequence, and we are going to investigate the Crypt of a Thousand Years. We're gonna check out this old vault. That what was the actual description of it? Vault that preserves art for all eternity, or something like that. We Now that you named that, I can't actually just look at the description. What is it? A vault built to preserve art for eternity. So we see you guys are outside of the crypt. And this part of the homeland is probably the most what's the word? Full of vegetation that any of these places are. It's, I guess the biome would kind of be like a scrubland, I guess. So still arid. I guess I imagine the Australian outback or something. Kind of like scrubby trees all around. And you guys have been traveling. Do you guys originally hail from Kelith, though? The urban hellhole for the poor and shunned?
I think my character definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
Episkiadzos gave up his place of origin upon becoming a monstrous servant.
Sure.
For lack of a better term for his caste. So,
yeah.
Not only did he give it up, ritualistically, he doesn't actually remember.
Okay, yeah.
He gave up those memories.
So tell me real quick, what is what's his face? Polyocosmo is your son. What is that like? Like, how old are you what's the age difference here, and how does that kind of work in the New Harmony? Right, because is Polyocosmo still just twisted bloodline? I'd assume.
I would say yes. Probably.
Did you have Polyocosmo before or after you became a monstrous servant? Well, how old are you?
Old enough that it was before.
Okay. Yeah. How old are you, Polycosmo?
I'm going to say, wait, you said 34?
I said old enough that it was before he became a monstrous servant that he had Polycosmo. I'm not going to put an actual number on it because off the top of my head, I can't come up with anything plausible.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do want to keep an air of mystery around the monstrous servants.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 20.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll play an adult this time around.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you're still young enough for it to be sad when you're sacrificed for your innocence. Yeah, cool. So we see whatever expedition you've mounted appear on the horizon as we see this kind of scrubby outback looking thing. I think as you guys are kind of coming nearer, we see some of the kind of local flora and fauna, and obviously there's these scrubby trees and stuff, but also we see what kind of look like it's really hard to kind of describe them. They are kind of they're mostly white. They kind of have smooth kind of scales that sort of look like feathers. like it's obvious that they're like scales. They're hardened, but they have the kind of like shape and flowy nature of feathers. And they have they kind of have a body that's sort of like it's quadrupedal, kind of like a carnivorous sort of wolf-like animal. But the claws, most of the stuff is white. But they have kind of what amounts to like kind of layers of shell or scale or whatever this is, that kind of like comes up like a frill on the top of their head, and but it's like layers of frill, and underneath there's this like vibrant red, and it's all kind of like flowing. Maybe flowing isn't the best word. Kind of like with their breathing, probably kind of going up and down these layers of frills. They have long, kind of sinewy tail that is mostly with these white scales, but underneath there's a layer of like kind of like red, and the red kind of like snakes out beyond the white end of its tail into kind of like what amounts to, it looks kind of like a I don't know, sharp tongue that kind of like comes out of their tail. And all in all, it's like this very sinewy kind of beast that's just like prowling through this like scrubby terrain. Its mouth, its face kind of looks a little bit like a kind of like a lung dragon, right? Like a Chinese lung, but like kind of flattened back, the face. But it has like these little like red kind of wiry like mustache things that kind of come down. And I will send you guys, after I've described that for everybody, I'm going to send you guys a Pinterest link. Because I definitely was just looking at a picture while describing this, but I couldn't.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
as well.
post it. I couldn't post it on just the stream because technically copyright. And we've been bad about that before. So, but yeah, looks like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
So we see you guys approaching. Now, Episgadzos, is it just you and Polycosmo? You don't. Neither of you have any agents or whatever that have come with you, right? Like that would be one of the gear options you could have chosen at the beginning. But you obviously don't have any like special agents that come with you. But is there anyone else at all with you? Or is it just you?
No, not.
Okay.
My assumption would be just us riding our Void Walkers.
Yeah. Okay, so now is this you guys like literally just like suddenly appearing in the terrain like from nothing, like with these like Void Walkers, like from the what is it, the World of Shadow?
I'm trying to remember now what the rules were about being able to
Or are you
traverse.
flying in the air with them?
I think we're probably flying down low to the ground. Or like kind of half fly running.
Sure.
It'll gallop along for a little bit, hit a rise, and
And it's kind of glide.
coast for a while, leaving a trail of wispy black smoke that kind of dissolves behind him.
Okay.
Things that any plants that touch the smoke kind of shrivel back.
Cool, yeah, and we see you guys kind of like get closer to. We're not close enough to you guys particularly to like really pick out your features, but we see you guys kind of like gliding on these Void Walkers, and we see the Crypt of 1,000 Years. And the Crypt of 1,000 Years it looks sort of like a bunker, like it's really basically just like a military bunker that's what it looks like, just in the middle of this like scrubby outback terrain, and it kind of peeks out from a cluster of hills. This kind of like bunker, big old double doors, metal, like shielded probably. And we see you guys glide over. And I think the sun is starting to set on the horizon as you guys get there. And we see the beast that I described earlier just kind of like gallop off as you guys draw closer, because no flora or fauna wants to be near anyone from the New Harmony, specifically a Void Walker. and the where maybe before the soundtrack had like the sound of insects chirping and maybe birds, now it's just eerily silent as you guys reach the Crypt of 1,000 Years, as wildlife around you seems to have vacated. Would you guys describe your characters for me? What do you look like?
My character looks like he's around 20-ish. Get it? Because anyway, he looks like he's around 20-ish. I'm describing his character. Since he's 20, he looks kind of 20.
That was
Yeah. He has one of those faces that you just kind of grow fond of. You meet this guy and you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna like this guy. He just kind of puts me at ease. But his eyes are always thinking. He's always got plans upon plans in the back of his head. He's young, graceful, like physique, and very not fit clothing, very like with the times kind of clothing, right? So he definitely, like, if it were today, he has the hoodie, he's got the nice pants that everybody's been looking out, trying to get their hands on. He's always
So he's
in
like
the
a
style.
hipster?
Yeah, he's a hipster.
That you would
Hipster
make
from
the
the
assumption that
apocalypse.
hipsters are mainstream culture is a little concerning, Caleb. Have we lost the definition of hipster?
Yes, we have. I said that on purpose. We absolutely have.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And he's got short blonde hair, kind of wavy, kind of anime style.
Cool. What does the Episkiadzos look like?
Episkiadzos, yes. Episkiadzos is hunched over on this draconic voidwalker. He's wearing a black cloak, and under that a black robe with silver tracery in geometric twisting patterns that are, optical illusion and impossible geometry kind of look. And his hood is pulled down real low over his face. You can see he's got his mouth is twisted into a sneer. Kind of wrinkles around the face, so not sure if age or injury. And as his voidwalker leaps off of a rise and spreads its wings to glide, the wind catches his hood and throws it back, and we can see that Episkiadzos has no eyes or any defining facial features above about here. Smoothed over, straight back.
And when you say
Yeah,
no
that's
eyes,
terrifying.
you mean like actually no eyes? Like
Actually, no
have...
eyes. Yes, like someone you took a wax dummy and ironed out the facial features above the nose, or at the nose and above.
No wonder this character of mine has so many mental problems. No wonder he turned to drugs.
Yeah, it's the same slightly wrinkled, pasty white skin.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys, arrive in front of the Crypt of 1,000 Years. What do? You can see, obviously, the doors are closed. They're probably shielded, locked. It's a vault for a reason, right? It's supposed to preserve art for all of eternity. But yeah, what do you do? I feel like Josh froze. Yeah, does look like he did. Well, while they're standing in front of the vault, what do we see from Nasia? Like, obviously, she's like, do we literally
lurking in the shadows?
Yeah, lurking in the shadows. Is it literally just like lurking in the shadows of, like, nearby? How nearby are you?
Probably scarily nearby. Like,
Right.
she's
You're
so
literally
good at
in the
this,
shadow
she's,
of
like,
a tree or something, right? And just
Yeah,
like completely
something like
invisible,
that.
sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. What do you look like?
I think she's kind of short. But she's like pretty, like slender. And she's got a mask that covers the bottom half of her face, so like from like nose down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she's wearing all black because just fashion isn't really a priority for her.
Who are you in relation to Josh's character?
A rival of some sort.
A rival. Okay.
But I don't know if I would say I already know him. I would say she's just currently a rival because she's trying to follow and I don't know, possibly steal from or I don't know, find some advantage from him.
Yeah. So I'm curious. You're an outsider, right? But do you like the New Harmony? Do you hate the New Harmony? Are you indifferent to the New Harmony? Why are you an outsider?
She probably hates them, I think. I think that's another reason why she's a rival, because, I mean, she just sees that he's a part of the New Harmony, and she's like, I used to be a part of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Technically, one of the things that I realized is technically someone should let's see. No, I don't need you to make that roll. Never mind. Well, just waiting for Josh.
Yeah.
Polyocosmo. You visit other people's dreams. Have you done that recently? Like one of the thoughts that I immediately had was, have you possibly been doing, because you came along on this, right, to what, like, show your father, like, hey, look, the past is important, right?
Right.
Have you been trying to invade his dreams to try to influence him one way or the other?
Yeah, I feel like that seems like a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. What have you shown him so far?
I mean, maybe that's why we're here. Maybe that's why we're on this trip. Is I
You
showed him glimpses
Yeah.
of the old world, and so he's looking
That's
for
perfect.
information for the New Horizons.
The New Harmony.
About New Horizons. What is that? That's an album by Flyleaf. That's interesting. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's too bad we didn't like go through the session up until now, and now we take a break. That would have been.
Oh,
that would
yeah.
have been perfect.
That would have been ideal.
Let's do this then. Let's get a scene with you, Polyocosmo, before this, right? You must embrace an addiction to a forbidden drug of your choice. You guys have been traveling for a little while now, probably days. You're addicted to memories. What does that look like? Like, how do you bring them with you, and how do you do that, right? Like,
the memories. I don't know. So it's the music, right?
I don't know. I mean, we know that the recollection can use the music to copy memories but also they're peddlers of memories, right? They traffic memories to other people. So there must be a common person's way to like get their memory fix.
Right. Boy.
I mean, is there? So we know that the recollection uses weaving to like make like animation sleeves and stuff. Is there some sort of patch or something that you put on you, right? Like a armband, maybe like someone would do with like a nicotine patch, or like a or even just to like pop out their blood veins and they're like taking drugs or something. This probably looks a lot like that when you like to tighten it on yourself. And maybe there's like weaving on the armband that like activates memories, and there's maybe a certain amount of them in it, but it's like that weaving magic.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No. No, explain it again. That doesn't make sense.
Because basically, right, the idea is they have the animation sleeves that they can make, right? The recollection can make these, patterns that are woven into the socks, right? That like when you put them on something, it animates them. Well, they probably can do the same thing with like an armband, and you put the armband on, and suddenly you get your fix of memories, right? Like they have a certain amount of store of memories, and every time you put on the armband, a new one like is given, like put into your mind.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Some weird stuff going on.
So you guys get up to the bunker, right? And maybe Epiciadzos is like looking at the doors right now, and it's been a while since you've
since you've
used, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I like slip them on and then like pull down my sleeves so that you can't notice that I'm taking memories. Sure. And then am I like distracted for a certain amount of time, like as I experience it?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, right? Like how does one take in a memory? Do you relive the memory, or is it suddenly just there? I feel like you'd have to live it, right? I feel like you'd have to like relive it in that moment, because otherwise, I mean, the way memory works, right? Like when something is happening is always more fulfilling and satisfying than just remembering it afterwards, right? Like it dulls with time of like, oh yeah, that happened, but now it's over, and I can never, I have to re-experience it if I want that.
So this drug basically gives you the ability to relive memories instead of just remembering things?
I feel like it must have to, right?
Yeah.
It must be you now experience a memory, and then it's now in your consciousness as a memory to call back on. So really, the addiction probably is just experiences, right? You got. So what is it exactly that you wanted to experience? What did you buy?
You could legit just be an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, people like jumping off of buildings and.
No, it's got to be more philosophical than that.
Okay. What if it's
like simple memories?
What if it's memories of like a married man who's just living his life in peace and harmony? And what if it's like maybe someone from the before, right? What if it's you've been
I'm
slowly
addicted to memories
you've been
from
slowly
before.
taking Connor, you've been slowly taking the memories of some sort of like artist or museum curator or someone related to this sort of stuff that you've been interested in this museum, right? And you've been slowly reliving his simple memories as like someone who just lives his life, has a wife and kids, and you've just been reliving the life through all of the like more special, mundane, but usually always pleasant memories that this person, like someone has curated a life for you to like another life for you to live.
Gosh.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you put it on then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And since it's magic, I feel like you can probably live the memory without having to like stand there for however long the memory takes, right? Because otherwise it would be like, oh well, I'm just in the middle, or is it? I guess that's the question, right? Or does it actually take as long as the memory takes? You're the guy who's in charge of the recollection.
I feel like it should be faster than that.
Yeah.
Just because. Okay. In all honesty, I feel like it should be same time because that's interesting. But I couldn't be a junkie.
Yeah.
And take memories slow. Like I'd have to go and be alone in order to do that.
Right.
So how about? But I like the idea of you having to experience it full on. So let's say I look at my sleeves and stuff like that, but we don't have the time right now. So like before we go to sleep, when we camp out or whatever, I'll put on the sleeves.
Okay. So what I want you to do then is I want you to
make
like
memories of him sleeping.
What?
Well, no, people don't remember those things. Never mind. Like I get like a memory of him getting ready for bed and like kissing his children, tucking them in, and kissing his wife.
Yeah.
Good night, honey.
And that's like, probably you take that before you go to bed, sort of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do though, because you're trying to resist the urge to use right now, right? I want you to roll diffuse. It's a character move, and you're gonna do it with steel. Right? You're de-escalating the tense situation. The tense situation being the fact that you just want to like relive a memory right now. And so you're rolling 2d6 plus your steel.
So 9.
Okay. On a 7 and 9, you've bought some time, but choose one. There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return, or the danger still present but threatening someone or something else.
I think only the second one makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like either one or two could make sense, but yeah, you could just say it will soon return. So you push it off for just the moment, but probably when it's the least the least helpful to you, it will come back. Yeah. Okay.
I never saw the like picture that you guys were talking about earlier.
It's in
the
Zoom chat.
On Zoom chat and everything.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not on Zoom chat. It's
the Pinterest.
It's in Roll20.
Roll20.
Oh yeah, sorry, Roll20. Yeah.
But I don't see which picture it is. I just see all of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be that way. Like it's a link to a specific pin. It should be at the top of the page, whatever you're looking at.
It's okay. Just keep going.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, so Episiadzos, we did figure out, as we were just kind of like going doing other stuff while we were waiting for you, that Polyocosmo's dream ability, he's been using it to visit your dreams. And that is actually the reason, if you're fine with this, that's actually the reason that you're here, because he was trying, his whole thing is he wants to get you to like remember the past and see its value. And so he's been sending you, like invading your dreams and kind of pushing you to come visit this place, because he wants you to experience like the before.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you is, do you also know that there's something else here, or is that literally the only reason you've come, is you've gotten weird dreams about it and you're like, oh man, I guess I need to go?
Yeah, I think I'm here because of the weird dreams.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So Episiadzos, you're in front of the bunker that is the Crypt of 1,000 Volts. The doors are shut. We cannot get out. They are coming. What do you do?
Drums.
Yeah,
Drums
exactly.
indeed. What do we do?
First obstacle, obviously getting in.
Well, I mean,
So
I could just take my Forbidden Paths move and get in there.
Yeah.
When you traverse the dark paths of the world, you can always find a way to the forbidden places of this world and beyond. Because that's a move that I have. Nothing is safe from a warlock.
Let's see. Decide if you travel
unnaturally fast or protected from the horrors below. And I think that was one of the things that we'd chosen to decide early. Because
I think you get to decide that every time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you just get to choose one of those every time. The thing is, you're not... curious. Because I don't... from the way that the trigger is worded, I'm not sure you can just automatically do it all the time. Because it says, when you traverse the dark paths of the world, right? Right now, you're not in one of the dark paths of the world, right? Like, I don't think it means you can instantly go to the dark paths of the world. It's
okay.
when there's a place to traverse that is a dark path of the world, you can, when you do this, you can always find a way to the forbidden places of this world and beyond. So you could go to like Paradise Lost, for example, right? And then find your way to the forbidden places of this world and beyond.
Okay.
But it seems like you just traveled here normally.
Sure.
Because I mean, there's always a risk for going into the world of shadow.
It would really help if I had a character move reference sheet open here. Can I... I didn't think this one through all the way, sending my warlock to break into a place. Considering my break into the place by hand wavium doesn't work. There's not like a investigate kind of option. It's like unearth forgotten lore, but that's not really the same thing as
technically that is kind of what you're doing right now. When you uncover a landmark or custom from the past, roll plus lore, right? Like that's actually you right now finding this place, right?
Okay.
No matter what, I think you roll that to see if you know any fun things about it, right?
Sure, fair enough.
And then you can get data for your family too.
So
yeah, roll 2d6 plus lore.
Sorry, 2d6 plus what?
Plus lore, plus 3 for you.
Okay, let's say.
Okay,
Boom.
cool. Yep, that's a hit. That's a 10 plus. So you gain 1 data, and you ask 3 of the questions
Cool.
that are there on the list.
Will you track my family data?
Yep, I was just about to do that.
Because I don't have a convenient way to do that, considering all our tracking is done on the background layer, and I can't change layers on my own. All right. What dangers is this place hiding?
What dangers is this place hiding? I think for you, the danger is probably so one, the mundane danger would be there might be defenses, right? There might be, automated defenses that are supposed to protect this place. That's the mundane danger that you see. The less mundane danger is from what you know of the before. I mean, right? Like, you serve and follow the Discordia, right? This is a place of the music of the before.
Okay.
Right? This is a place that was either made using the music or sustained using the music, or at least some of the relics within have been made using the music. Like, those are the sorts of things that it's very, good music central of a place.
Okay.
So you would be in a sort of the Discordia. There could be a pull to the light side, right? Sort of a thing. Or at the very least, a light side that wants to illuminate the darkness.
Sure. Where is it drawing power from?
Where is it drawing power from? Good question. I mean, probably, yeah, the music. I guess I need to come up with a name for the light side of the music.
Should just play Discordia and Musica, or Discordia and Harmonia.
Harmonia. Let's call it the Harmonia. Yeah. The Harmonia is definitely the thing that powers this place. It draws its power from, the Harmonia.
Okay. Really broad question, but maybe let's focus it a little bit. This power draw. How can I turn the contents to my advantage?
How can you turn the contents to your advantage? Well, what's become obvious to you by serving the Discordia, any music can be corrupted.
Okay.
So anything inside that serves the Harmonia or is powered by the Harmonia, you could, with enough time or knowledge, you could turn it. You can make it into something that serves the Eldritch powers of the Beyond instead.
Forgive me. I have had a little caffeine today. Nah, that's awesome. Okay. Doesn't get us in the doors, but at least it gives me a better context for what we're looking at.
Also keep in mind, because you have 1 data now, technically in the character moves, you could use information as power if you wanted to. When your character draws on your family's research, spend a point of data and get an advantage on the roll.
Okay.
So you can technically use that data for that too.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys just have a conversation about it, right? Might be a thing you do. Because right now you both have just been standing there staring at the door.
Sure.
Any idea how to get through this, Father?
Tell me, Paleocosmo, what do you see?
See a door. Why do you always have to be so cryptic, Father?
Yes, it's a door. That's the obvious. Look past the obvious.
have no idea. Okay, Caleb, I look closely at the door. What do I see?
I don't know. Let me look at moves and stuff here. I mean, honestly, you could, if you wanted to, Connor, you could roll diffuse with lore to literally try to like see past the door in some way. But I don't think you're good at lore, are you?
No, I'm not good at lore at all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's the thing is you probably just stare at the door and you don't know, like, like you don't know what your father's trying to get you to see because you can't see it.
So I just say, need me to look closely for you since you don't have any eyes.
If you would spend your time learning and making your own memories instead of consuming those of others, you might actually see. This place has stood here for thousands of years. Before the shadowing, this place was here. Why does it still stand?
He definitely bristles at you making fun of his memories and like pulls down his or no, he didn't put them on.
Yeah.
He just like puts his hands in his pockets and like feels them, and it's just like
feels the the armband or whatever that you use. Yeah.
Just like whatever, Dad, and like walks away all whatever.
It's not a phase, Dad.
It's not a phase.
Music, Paleocosmo. This place is of the harmonia. Can you not feel it?
No, I can't.
It's insidious, sweet, sickening.
It's a weird dude.
It says you have to keep in mind that he has no eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he speaks with really exaggerated mouth movements because that's his only form of facial expression.
Yeah.
Like the mouth of Sauron.
Basically, that was one of my inspirations for the character.
Oh wow. Okay. That's terrifying.
Yeah, visual inspirations, I guess.
It was like Grima Wormtongue, Mouth of Sauron.
Yes. Only, why take away just the eyebrows when you can take away the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, how's this diffuse?
Yeah, you could use diffuse to just try to like get through the door somehow. You could it's also possible that Nausea is brought into this somehow. If you aren't just gonna like sneak behind them. I don't know. It's possible Nausea actually knows how to get in here.
Mm-hmm. Assuming she's sneaking, is there like a stealth passive perception kind of mechanic we can pull on here?
Let's see.
To see if Paleo.
If you're not Paleo. Well, the thing is, she can see perfectly and move silently in the utmost darkness.
But she's not.
You're not in the utmost darkness right now. So yeah, I think you're only in like a shadow. So I think it's probably on Nausea to make this move. Go ahead and roll diffuse with probably steal. And you get advantage, so you can roll 3d6.
But I have to take harm to do that, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can take 1 harm to roll it with advantage. It's fine. You got 5 harm boxes.
Yeah.
It's fine. When you die, terrible energies plague the area. Those that brave the maelstrom can find a device on your body. It's okay. You just generate a dangerous resource in the middle of the area here when you die. Take all the harm you want.
Okay, so you get 11 in total. You take 1 harm, so you are now drained. So you play your character narratively as if you are drained. Cool. Yeah. So I think you're perfectly stealthy in the shadows.
Yay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so you like suck your own life force out to be sneaky. Yeah, so what do you do?
I mean, I'm tempted to just see if we can throw wide the doors. Or wait, is there...
You also have words of madness and power. You could literally just try to like
Right.
Power word open the door.
That's true. From my investigations, did I see any specific warding or seals on the doors?
You can obviously sense the Harmonia's influence, but whether or not it's like specifically arcanely shielding the door, you don't know. You definitely can sense that it's just a big old honking door that's locked and sealed, like mundanely.
Okay.
Yeah. You also have the start of a rite of great power. If you want to just make up the rest, that could maybe be a thing that you could do.
Yeah, that's possible as well. I think that Episkiadzos is going to try and introduce corruption into the...
Yeah, sneak your way into the Harmonia's chords.
Yeah, introduce corruption into the Harmonia's chords.
Introduce a wrong note in the melody.
Yes, bring in a wrong note and
in the chord structure.
Yeah, essentially try to defuse and unseal.
Man, the composer of the TV show version of this would have a heyday with all the musical cool like stuff he could do with that thematically fit with everything.
Would he have a heyday, or would the director be hanging over his shoulder the whole time?
Yeah,
but that's not what I'm hearing in my head.
Yeah.
See the conflict now. But now what you got to do is you got to find a composer who's also director, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it works. So what kind of role would that be?
Would what be exactly?
To try to use my words of madness and power.
To use the words of madness and power.
Could I bring them to bear against the Harmonia, keeping the doors sealed?
Let's see. Honestly, this is an interesting question because, you know, the first implication or inclination I had was force, right? Like you're just like brute forcing down the door with the words of power. But I could also maybe see lore being it just because of the way that a lot of these moves are worded, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the diffuse, right, a de-escalate a tense situation, it could be, you know, using lore, improvised technology, or remembered information. That's sort of similar to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unleash power is a similar kind of thing to what you're doing, which is when you find the device and use the device, you say the thing you want it to do, and then roll lore. So I think I'll let you roll diffuse with lore here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're basically just trying to like insert a discord into the harmony and get the defenses to fall long enough to be able to break past it. Okay, 9, yeah. So that means on a 7 and 9, you've bought some time, but choose one. There's a cost to securing safety. So in this case, right, there's a cost to securing the door. The danger will soon return, right? The Harmonia will soon return. Or the Harmonia is still present, but threatening someone or something else. In this case, I think you could, if you wanted to, you could turn the power of the Harmonia on your son, right? You could always be like, tell the Harmonia, hey, see that guy over there? Like, there's something you could attack him. You could put your attention on him, and then you would have an opening. Those are your kind of 3 options there. So there's like a personal cost. It's only temporary. So you'd be like locked in sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can redirect it.
Yeah, I don't think Episkiadzos, for all of his, being creepy and a monstrous
you're not
serpent,
just gonna
I don't
randomly
think
turn the
he's
harmonia on your
necessarily
son.
going to just instantly stab his son like that.
Exactly.
So we're
I
going
figured.
to go with the danger will soon
Thanks.
return.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so you see
You're
your opening,
welcome,
and
son.
it's like the, I mean, basically what it is, we, in our mind's eye, we see like a pianist, right? Like playing this beautiful piano piece, and then suddenly he hits a wrong note, and he just stares at the piano for a moment, and it's like, what? How did I? And in that moment of silence, right, the silence marker on the sheet music, the door is open to you, and you can just go in.
It's Episkiadzos. It's just going to move right on into the vault.
Yeah. Do you have your son enter behind you?
Well, one would hope that he's paying attention to the world around him instead of the world of the past.
Yeah.
But
And
it seems that once again he's reliving others' memories instead of making his own.
Paleocosmo, do you follow?
Wait, I'm sorry. I totally missed that.
Yeah, you were reliving others' memories instead of making your own.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, he basically he gets the. I think what it looks like to you, Paleocosmo, is suddenly there's just a blackness that kind of covers the door, and Episkiadzos, you can just walk through the door at this point. You can just walk into the blackness and be on the other side.
The way is open. He just walks forward through the darkness.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go with.
Yeah. Okay, and Nazi, I assume you try to like yeet yourself in back behind them.
Yes, I tried to yeet myself in behind them.
Okay, and we don't know she's here, right?
No.
She's just following along. Okay.
Episkiadzos does not.
I'm particularly good in blackness, so.
Yeah.
I just sneak right in.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like you guys enter, and now it's completely dark, and so Nasi can just do whatever she wants. Like she's just in complete darkness right now, and so she just sneaks away, right? To be able to follow you at a distance wherever you go from here. But yeah, you're in a dark, dusty vault entrance. What do you do? Obviously, Polycosmo can't see. And I guess technically neither can Episkiadzos.
What can... So I'm assuming I'm surrounded by art and artifacts from the time before.
Honestly, you're like in a vault entrance. Like
so like
it's like an entrance chamber. Yeah, it's an antechamber.
Okay. I mean, Episkiadzos is going to just kind of reach out with his feelings and try to find, what the room is and the nearest doors and stuff like that, because, why use light when you don't have eyes anyway?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you can like feel the room. I mean, you basically just kind of like sense a general like, yeah, you're in an antechamber, and there is a door. Basically, what it is there's a door directly ahead of you, and then there are corridors, branching off to the left and right of that door, and that go like to the left and right and further into some other part of whatever this is.
Okay. And
you can sense that like the Harmonia knows you're here and like is displeased.
You don't like that, do you? Yes.
Yeah, it's like suddenly realizing there's a fly in your soup, but you keep trying. You use your spoon and you keep trying to get it out, and you can't quite do it. Keeps dunking lower into the soup.
So you get your chopsticks, and all of a sudden you realize you have little bits of fly all over your suit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, Carly.
Gotta use gross metaphors for this, for the new harmony. Nazia, what do you do? Do you literally just like waiting in the darkness, like to follow whatever they're gonna do? Okay.
She's just curious.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they doing?
What you doing? And then Evskiasos looks at his son and says, "Son, I know what we're gonna do today."
Oh, that's Phineas and Ferb, isn't it?
We're going to role play as Isaac and Abraham.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, would you look at that? Don't worry, son. The Discord will provide.
The Discordia will provide an offering. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
Polycosmo, you can't see anything. You're just into complete blackness.
Right. So I'm gonna be like, Dad, Dad, where are you?
Forgetting his character sheets is labored breathing.
Yes, you just hear him breathing.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe a little more comical than I wanted for this character.
Poor face so loud.
It was just the timing was.
Too good to pass up. I mean, is there a light switch?
You could look around for one, yeah.
Barring that, I mean, I don't have a flashlight or anything.
Yeah, I wish there was like there isn't a move in this game for like, hey, I'm just gonna like search around for stuff, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess it's diffused with some. It could be steel or lore, probably. Right, steel because it's like survival stuff, or lore. Just having to know, what.
Improvised technology.
Yeah. So yeah, whoever would like to make that move, it's steel or lore to like find some sort of like light in this room and like turn it on.
I can do steel.
Yeah, do it.
Just
use your normal survival skills.
Because otherwise, Epicietzos is probably just going to walk off into the darkness. It's like, I have a general idea of where I'm going. I might not be able to see perfectly in the dark, but I know.
Okay, so
generally.
there's a cost to securing your goal. It's a temporary solution, or the danger is still present but threatening someone or something else. It doesn't really make any sense in this situation.
I can see, but it costs me my eyes.
Yeah,
it's the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll do a temporary solution.
Okay. Yeah. So you find some sort of like breaker switch on the wall, and pull it, and suddenly like emergency lights. Well, looks like emergency lights, but obviously it's probably just like preliminary like runway kind of lights. They're like red, pop on into existence and illuminate the chamber dimly. Which means that Nastia is at risk of being discovered here. So Nastia, do you want to roll steal to be hidden? And remember, you can always hurt yourself to get advantage on it.
Yeah, might as well. This is basically a one-shot for me, so...
So you roll 3d6.
11.
10, yep. Sounds good, yeah. So you managed to disappear into shadow before. And I love to think that, like, obviously the audience knows that you're there this entire time. But it's like at the very last moment, like maybe we see from behind Polyocosmo as he like pulls over in the breaker switch, like as the lights are turning on, we see a shadow like duck into a corner, right, and just disappear. Yeah, cool.
I probably don't think anything of it just because this is freaking weird already anyway.
Yeah.
So why?
Yep.
Shadow, I should just keep moving forward.
Yeah, Episkiadzos, do you go towards the door or one of the side chambers or one of the side corridors?
See, now here's an interesting question about the people who built this place. Would they have put their most precious artifacts in front, or their most controversial? Because my theory is that this thing that we're seeking after had some kind of flaw, and that it's inherently it's more exploitable than other item, more exploitable to the Discordia, right? Because I'm interested in the place, and I've discovered that there's this thing called the Aras here.
Mm-hmm.
And these dreams I've been having keep telling me to come to this place.
Yeah.
So I'm after this. So my assumption is that it's this thing that I'm meant to find.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take the left-hand side passage.
Okay. Yeah.
Just keep walking until I find something of note.
Yeah, and I think what basically happens is that's also the passage that Nausea took, and so we as the audience can see her basically walking backwards in front of you, right? Like jumping from shadow to shadow as you're like going forward. But obviously, Episkiadzos doesn't know anything that's going on, and obviously this is like a magical stealth anyway. So Polyocosmo doesn't really either, even if he follows. So Polyocosmo, do you just follow your dad down the corridor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you go, all three of you notice that this corridor is lined with a couple various alcoves that hold, like, there's some like paintings, there's a sculpture or two on a pedestal, there's alcoves as you go down the corridor holding various works of art.
Anything particularly resonant with the Harmonia?
I think no. Yeah, as you go down, this is all kind of pretty normal stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, you sense the music is somewhere beyond you still.
Okay. As we continue down the corridor. Son, what comfort do you find in those things?
The memories?
Yes.
They're better than here.
Better? Define better.
Like, I don't expect you to understand, okay? You sacrificed your eyes to this new world. But it was better before all this happened.
And like you could see in the alcoves, at Polyo, like all of this beautiful artwork. Like I don't know if you're like a aficionado of artwork or anything like that, but even someone who's not an appreciator of art understands like the beauty of a lot of these works. Like we basically see the equivalent of like the Mona Lisa and those sorts of things, right? This world's great treasures. It's literally as if like the great nations of the world put all of their most important treasures and arts in this vault before the world ended, right? That's the level of significance to these. And I think you can just kind of understand that intuitively because of the way these things like are.
Better before.
Yeah.
The shadowing brought forth in this world power that it had never seen. It's the greatest opportunity the world has ever faced. The shadows, they practically sing of a glorious new future, ruled not by governments and petty human squabbles. But I wouldn't expect you to understand. Too busy hiding in the dust of the past to look to the glories of the future and of the present.
Oof.
That's it. That's all you're going to say to me. Oof.
Hashtag oof.
No, I don't think he responds to that. I think he just is like, yeah. I don't think he wants to respond to it because he's afraid that he's going to say something that makes sense to him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is probably how conversations with your dad always go, right? Like, if you try to argue with him, he ends up twisting what you thought was true and then getting you to doubt your own self. And so you only really feel like you understand your own viewpoint when you're not talking to him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you guys, make it parts of the way down this hall, and then you realize that there's a big door that looks identical to the one that you, when you first got into the antechamber, that was ahead of you, to the right of you.
Anything different in the resonance, the music around us?
I mean, I think you can feel it now that the something beyond this door resonates pretty strongly. But it's almost as if as it pulled away from when you first entered, right? It was like pulling away from you. It was specifically trying to like not get you to understand that the harmonia was strong inside this room, and so it let you kind of just wander down the corridor before eventually, your natural attunement to this makes you realize, yeah, there's something beyond that door. Like, it's the same chamber as before. Like, there's probably a corridor that goes all the way around this middle chamber that's filled with various works of art that are all pretty mundane, but something in the middle, that's where the good stuff is.
Okay.
And I think as soon as you realize that, the harmonia attacks you. Like, suddenly there's just a crescendo of music that we just hear in the soundtrack, and the sound of 1,000 trumpets, and there's something trying to break your mind.
Okay.
So yeah, how do you want to deal with that?
Would one say that this was a place of power?
Yeah, obviously, yes.
You can beckon to behemoths and monsters and command their attention.
Yes.
A warlock in his natural habitat.
When in a place of power, you can beckon to behemoths and monsters and command their attention. Find common ground with them with fleeting advantage. Also, when you encounter any music, okay.
Well, but that's a sway move, isn't it?
Yeah. This is
no, but I have swayed. I have advantage on my sway.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is basically when you find monsters, you can sway them. When you're in a place of power. When in a place of power, you can beckon to behemoths and monsters and command their attention. Roll find common ground with them with fleeting advantage. Basically, it's like,
so I have to be
the behemoths and monsters around a place of power. You can beckon to, because that seems to be the way that it's being worded.
Okay, that's fair. I was hoping, but.
But could he do something to figure out if there are any nearby?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, there could be something leeching off of this place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what you would roll.
Well, because I'm being attacked.
Yeah. So in the immediate, you'd probably roll diffuse somehow here to like defend against it. And I think technically, Paleocosmo, you're probably also being attacked by this just by virtue of you being here with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Way to get me into trouble again, Dad.
Does that mean I am also?
Yes.
Dang it.
Yeah, I think everybody must be, yeah. Because the Harmonia isn't really seen. I mean, you are all New Harmony people, right? Like, the Harmonia isn't seeing any difference between any. Yeah, but all of you have the weird Discordia energy, right, going on. So the Harmonia doesn't see a difference between any of you.
You might not follow the orthodoxy, but you certainly still play around with the Discordia, which counts.
Yeah.
As far as antithetical magic systems
all
are concerned.
Yeah, all of your stealth weirdness is powered by the Discordia, for sure.
Powered by the Discordia. Powered by the apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody roll diffuse with, honestly, any of the stats of your choice, and then give me an argument for it. Right? It's like how you're defending against this magical music that's
obviously
you.
I'm going to argue for steel because it's survival instincts, and also I can get advantage.
Same.
Yeah, you want to both use steel. I feel like that's fine, right? Like, you're just using your survival instincts to defend against this. Because it's not attacking you probably as strongly as it's attacking Episkiatzos.
Well.
Okay, so you both got 7 to 9. Okay, so, similar situation, right? There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return. The danger is still present, but threatening someone or something else. Connor, you rolled first, so you choose first.
Say my options again.
There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return. The danger is still present, but threatening someone or something else.
I'm going to choose the third one.
Yeah. Who is it threatening instead?
Josh.
Your dad, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what you do is you just bounce it off of you and onto Episkiatzos, right? You're just like, pay attention to him. You just tell them basically in your mind, no, you don't want me. You want him. Okay, so it's going to be harder for Josh.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Okay. I think that makes sense, right? It's like, it's almost as if it, this thing was doing like, spraying fire with a machine gun at all of you, and then like as soon as you guys got hit like once, just like very briefly, you're like, I'm out, and then like left the playing field, right? This is like paintball sort of a thing, and then there's only one person left to hit, and it's Episkiatzos, but they still have 50 paintballs left in their chamber, right?
I think Episkiatzos is going to roll lore to try and induce corruption into the
you want to just like
attack,
draw it into the darkness,
twist the attack, and draw on its power.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Yeah, do it. Roll plus lore. All right. Same thing. 7 to 9. You're lucky that you have a +3 on that, because that's the only way you got the 7 to 9.
I know.
So there's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return, or the danger is still present but threatening someone or something else.
I'm going to take this. So the power used in the attacks, I'm going to corrupt it and send it back at its source. And in doing so, I'm going to incur a cost.
Okay. Let's see. I think the cost for you is what would be a good cost? If anyone has any ideas, let me know. I'm trying to think through this.
Something other than his eyes.
Yeah. I think what you do is you twist the room around you. Like suddenly the corridor itself becomes this like twisted nightmare, like piece of twisted nightmare that harms even you, right? Like because it's still like, lashing out, at everything and anything. But even though it's, kind of, what's it called? Corrupted now. And let me check something. I know there's a thing called hostile grounds, and that's basically what's happening right now. And let me see if I can find where that's listed. Hostile grounds. Here we go, 56. When in a hostile environment, you roll with disadvantage. To overcome this disadvantage, find a specific gear or use strange devices. Yeah, so basically right now, for the time being, in this twisted nightmare realm, everybody has disadvantage.
I love it.
Yeah, so like the corridor itself, and you see, right, like Paleocosmo, you see like the Mona Lisa suddenly, like that's nearby, right, like suddenly turn into some sort of weird eldritch creature, right, like in this painting, right, like those sorts of like art pieces, yeah, like it's like some of the pieces, people in the art are suddenly are like crying blood, or like the sculpture like breaks, shatters into like a bunch of different fractures. Those sorts of things, right, are happening as the twisted nightmare kind of spreads down the corridor. But yeah, you've deflected the attack. So what do you do, Episkiadzos? You can see, like the darkness or nightmare around just kind of like pulsing tensely now.
All right. What is it? Pretty. Was Nasia's reaction enough to make her noticeable, visible?
I think we're gonna make one more roll for her. You go ahead and you can roll steal again to do that, and I think because now we'll be at disadvantage because of the nightmare realm. Right, I think that kind of change, it might make her visible.
Does that mean I just roll it normal?
If you're still using harm, yeah. Keep in mind if you're. Oh, right. Did you do it before when you did the second?
Yes.
Okay, so that means if you do this one, you'll have a -1 to a stat.
Okay. So how would I be rolling it at disadvantage then?
If you're just gonna roll disadvantage, roll 3d6 and you take the lowest two.
Okay.
Instead of the highest two. Okay, so it's a 6, so that means you fail. Yep. So obviously, the first thing that happens is you guys see her, right? So the nightmare like silhouettes her in the darkness, right? And suddenly you see this lady just like standing there. And let's see, I also get to make a GM move. Let's see. And offer you an opportunity, Nasia. You can take this to your advantage if you want to. You could kind of seep into the nightmare. You could try to pretend or like force the nightmare to function like utmost darkness, but it will irrevocably change you.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Oh wow, you're that committed to this.
Yeah.
She will not be seen.
Now the question is Nasia following Episkiadzos, or is she following Paleocosmo?
What do you mean?
Just literally that. Has she followed Episkiadzos here or Paleocosmo? Or just both of them because they were interesting and you have a passing interest, and somehow now you've committed your entire eternal soul to this passing interest of two shadowy figures in a vault.
Yep.
I'm just curious, what would drive the character to make that kind of commitment?
Yeah, I'm curious myself.
Right? Is she?
I'm just making fun decisions that I typically wouldn't make with like a longer term character.
And I'm trying to help you come up with a reason to weave them together. Give you something to latch onto to play this character. If you don't want me to do that, that's fine. I can stop throwing ideas.
You're fine.
She's trying to do what Jared usually does. She's finding an opportunity to do what Jared usually does. But
Jared plays why does Jared play every character like it's a throwaway character?
He kind of does.
And somehow they are never thrown away.
And somehow they do amazing things and keep sessions going, and yet he continues to make wild magic characters, and oh man.
I think if anything, Nausea is just literally not right in the head. Like, I mean,
yeah, she's just this weirdo in the wilderness,
kind of
right?
Like, she eats dead things off the ground. Like,
yeah, so she's just like a creepy individual who's just not right in the head.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and you're like, your overriding instinct is like, they can't see me, they can't see me, they can't see me.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the one thing she cares about. She's like over curious about everything abnormal from her day to day, but she also is obsessed with never being noticed.
Yeah. And so you seep into the nightmare, and yeah, I mean, I think obviously what happens is as you functionally enter into some sort of weird halfway point between the Discordia and the Harmonia, you're given one overriding urge beyond not being seen, and beyond curiosity. Your overriding urge is to feast on them. Even if they are not dead, you will make them dead. And now you are a living incarnation of a nightmare.
Oh my.
Silent and deadly, not seen, but somehow very felt. And you're given the desire to feast. What do you do? I know why her name is Nausea now. Nausea.
Oh,
Nausea.
I just used a name generator. I think this is where she tries to resist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're like, oh no, I can't. I only eat dead things.
It's not dead. It doesn't look appetizing yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta let it set for maximum umami.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see then. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're diffusing. Yeah. So with steel.
So that's 2d6.
I'm
not taking harm.
Say that again.
If I'm not taking harm.
If you're not taking harm, I think it's still 3d6. Even though you're like part of the nightmare is still affecting you. So it would be with disadvantage. If you're not. All right, so that's an 8. So you get to choose the like normal diffuse options. It's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return. The danger is still present, but threatening someone or something else.
Third one, still present, but threatening someone or something else.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm just gonna deflect it to the other people here. Because I don't know them, but I'm not gonna personally attack them and kill them and eat them.
Okay, so the thing is, you did choose to enter the nightmare, so you have done that. You've already entered the nightmare. This is not resisting the nightmare. This is resisting the urge to feast on their flesh.
Right, yeah.
So, who specifically do you want to give this urge to?
Oh, gosh. Josh's character. Okay.
Yeah, Episkiadzos, as you feel the presence of this nightmare monstrosity, you suddenly feel the urge to feast. And it's kind of just not really directed anywhere. It's just like this weird kind of like unnatural urge.
I say hunger. Also, what?
I think it's obviously at that point where the emergency lights go off again, and everything is thrust into darkness. And one thing that I just thought of, Josh, technically, I think Nasia definitely qualifies as a monster at this point. So if you wanted to sway her to your side, you could. You obviously sense, and I think you can sense that there's someone following you, and they have just been changed by this Discordia stuff that you just created. But you know how to talk to those sorts of things.
Can I sense that that's also where the hunger came from?
Yeah.
So this is definitely something foisted on me.
Yeah.
Stepped into something above your head, did you? Out beyond your depth in the darkness. It can change a person, can't it? You feel that, don't you? This hunger, isn't it? It was yours, not mine. And now you're lost. And a little scared. Things have changed. It's not how it was. I need to... I'm panicking because I couldn't remember the name of the thing I was looking for. Find common ground.
Yeah. The character moves. When you ask someone to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Let me help you find your way. All you need to do, little one, is open this door and let us through.
Okay, yeah, roll sway. I assume this is something that he could attempt. Carly. Yeah.
Okay. Rolling sway with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10.
All right, on a 10 plus, they'll do it if you meet their terms. On a 10 plus, they pick one. They'll only do it if blank. So you get to choose one option from this find common ground list, Carly, on character moves. One basically that's your term basically for joining him.
I mean, I can back out as soon as it costs me. I think that one makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'll do it in the immediate, but as soon as it is going to risk anything from you, you can back out and leave. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, he directs you towards the door, and you want to use your new nightmare powers to try to break down the door?
Sure.
Okay. And by new nightmare powers, I mean you don't really have any more powers than you had before, but
just spookier.
You're just spookier. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you do have
I
words of
open the
madness
door-
and power, though. So,
I open the door, but do it spooky.
yeah.
An extra special creak to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you want to use your words of madness and power to try to
Sure.
break open the door? Sounds good. Roll force.
Okay, what do I do for that?
2d6 plus 0.
Okay.
I think with Josh's direction, you're able to shrug off the disadvantage and kind of embrace the nightmare. 7. Okay. So,
Is that a fiercely assault or a diffuse?
Good question. I think it's a fiercely assault in this instance, because really what she's not just attacking the door, she's attacking the harmonia, right? That's defending the door. So when you use an appropriate weapon to hurt, capture, or drive off your enemies, roll plus force. On a hit, you do it. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1, and the GM chooses 2 from this list. Okay, so look at fiercely assault in the character moves, Carly. You choose 1 from the character list, and I'm going to choose 2 from the GM list. I know what 2 I'm choosing, but I'm going to see what you choose first. So you do open the door for sure, but then you also do one of these things.
Your avenue of escape is clear.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So you blast open the door with your words of Madison power that are now twisted even further with the nightmare realm that you've entered, right? And the door swings off its hinges. And I think what you've done really is you've gathered up the nightmare into yourself, and then you blast the door with it, and now it's dissipated. And so you are irrevocably changed by this, but the hostile grounds around you are no longer there. So if you want to, you can just escape down either corridor sort of thing, right? Because it's all dark again. It's spooky again. The thing I'm going to choose, though, for the 2 I get to choose from the GM list, you take harm as appropriate. And I think, directly attacking the harmonia is at least going to get you 2 boxes of harm. So you are hurt and mangled.
Fun.
So you get -1 to... I'll give you -1 to force for the first one that you get, like -1 to a stat, because that's one you're using, and then -1 to every stat beyond that. So right now you're at, -2 force. Oh, bye, Connor.
Hi, Connor.
Plus
We now
0
have 2 of you.
lore, -1 steal, and -2 sway. Switch him around. Yeah, what?
Look at the playbook information for when the outsider dies.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
expect to die.
She's not dead yet, but she has 1 box left.
But it's so
I know,
instantly relevant. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, so you're like on the verge of death, sort of a thing. And so I'm choosing that one, right? You take harm as appropriate, and also the situation is destabilized and chaos will follow.
Uh-oh.
And I think what happens is you use the nightmare to blast open the door, and we see inside the inner chambers of this vault. And I think basically you see like a lot of important relics, in various, it's like a very museum-like kind of presentation inside there. But there's one middle pedestal that has the Aris, right, on it. This tapestry of impossible geometries. And standing in front of it, holding a sword and a trumpet, is a forgotten herald.
Oh, yes.
Epic.
Of course.
And
of course.
They look like I'll send you the pin that I'm thinking of here in Roll20 chat. But just to describe for the audience, they are wearing, they have a kind of like a sleek, slender body. They're wearing like kind of what amounts to like ash-colored carapace armor that kind of like sticks off at various angles, and their face is kind of like a bone chalk white, like angular face with various kind of like fans of like this black carapace kind of folded over the top of their head like frills, or like kind of like a feather headdress almost, actually. And there's a single circular piece of this like carapace kind of like floating above their head like a ring, like a little halo, but it's like vertical instead of horizontal. And its mouth basically amounts to just a long jagged piece of like ash colored carapace, just kind of like down.
I think I might be about to drop again.
Okay. It's holding
I
the
still
sword
here?
and a trumpet. Yeah, you're secure.
Okay,
It's holding a sword and a trumpet, and it stands in front of you, and that is where we'll take our second break. That's what I was gonna try to break up to. Yeah, you're all standing there, and it's basically like standing there like, I'm protecting this thing, like you're not getting to it unless, I'm a servant of the Harmonia, like sort of a thing. It's been summoned by a threat to that which is holy, right? All right, we'll be back with more Hellbreaker Sequence right after this. Stick around.